There's no limits. You just do whatever the heck you want. The next step, an official announcement for Arma 4 has just come out. At least the road to Arma 4 is directly about Arma Reforger. So let's not waste any time and just jump in. First thing we want to see is the meat. That is our features. We have this big old map right here, kind of explaining what we're getting. First thing we're seeing is AI vehicle driving. Yes, the AI cannot drive, so thank God, like the AI can drive on the road. Fantastic. Weapon deployment. Basically, hey, you can put your weapon on the ground. You can put it on a bipod. You don't need a bipod to put on anything. We saw this in Arma 3. This is typical stuff we've seen from Arma 3 so far. We got commanding, command whole groups of AI by issuing basic commands. Of course, we don't see that in Reforger right now. We're going to get commanding. Thank you. And the health system enhancements. Let's see what this says. New medical items. Okay. Vague, but okay. We had a first aid kit in Arma 3. Multiple hit zone self-bandaging. That sounds interesting as well. In Arma 3, I don't think we had multiple hit zones. We kind of did. There's different body parts for it, but as far as self-bandaging, I'm not sure if that makes a difference. But where here it sounds like you're going to be self-bandaging. There's better ragdolls. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's always good. There's plenty of mods in Arma 3 for that. Dynamically generated scenario. What? Okay, new playable solo or co-op scenario. It's dynamic objectives to complete and detailed compositions for the objectives. Okay, so that sounds like some of the later scenarios that came out for Arma 3, where you could just jump in and you would kind of just get a random task to be given to you. And I think the most common one you can probably compare this with is the mod Dynamic Recon Ops from Arma 3. Game Master update. So we're getting a Game Master update. That's our Zeus equivalent. For those who don't know, Game Master is like Zeus in Arma 3. There's going to be an introduction of a quick entity browser. Good. Thank you. That's what we've been asking for, like Zeus. Just grab your stuff and pull it out way faster than what Game Master is right now. Ability to save filter presets to entity browser. Interact with objects in the world. Most importantly, toilets. Thank you, guys. Sense of humor, top notch. Bohemia Interactive, guys. Just get all the credit. Just buy it right now. Just go ahead and buy it. We got all these plans. We know they follow through. Buy it right now. Support them. Conflict update. Freeform building partial. What? Okay. Freeform building partial. What does he mean? Services and fortification to be built anywhere near the supply source. Okay, so we're built. Okay, so this is where the building comes in. This is something that Arma 3 does not have. It natively is building construction buildings, and kind of in a similar way it looks like from the game called Squad. There's an advanced building interface as well, so that's really exciting. These upgrades for the Infusion engine sounds wonderful. Base seizing overhaul. Capture bases with a dominancy feature. In order to win the battle, the faction must seize and hold several strategic points and semi-randomized starting points or HQ positions. Okay, so it makes it a little bit more useful that you have to capture multiple places in a certain section to be able to capture a section. That sounds similar to Battlefield, where you had to capture multiple bases to actually get credit for an entire particular bases. Services, barracks. Constant amount of AI defenders is spawned in the base, decreases the price of the deploy ticket. Supply depot. In order to expand a base, the depot must be built up in order to store these needed supplies. When we were talking about construction, I think this is what we're talking about. Barracks, supply depot. Antenna increases the basic signal of the radio in contact distant bases. Build up your main operating base, your MOB. Supply management. Vehicles and deploy tickets cost supplies. Fight for supply depots scattered on the island. Okay? Conflict on the new island of Arland. We're getting a new island, boys. New terrain. So we're getting the conflict scenario on the new terrain called Arland. We've never seen this one before, so it'll be really interesting, as opposed to Infusion of mines. Destroy vehicles with placeable explosives. Yes, it's got people driving those little jeeps, and plant a mine and watch as vehicles explode from user action activation. Oh man. Oh, you boys in my battlefield buddies, you know what I'm thinking about right now. You plant that mine right on that Jeep sucker, right, and run it straight into the enemy tank, and get our battlefield moments. Maybe we'll call it Arma moments. Let me know what you think about that idea in the comments below. Destructibles. Tweaks to the destructible system to allow more props to be destructible. Yes! More destruction, more destruction. This is what Battlefield was always about. The destruction. And then, you know, they ruined it. Map. Protractor tool in the map. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, let's I know they've been big on trying not to let people know exactly where they're at on the map. Like by default, you can't know exactly where you're at. There's a mod to fix that, but the protractor tool helps you identify where you're at and how far maybe a target that you're looking for is on the map. Assets. Arland. Here's our map. Arland. It's 4x4 kilometers, so it's not huge, but it's you know, it's an armor map. It'll do plenty. It's a summer Baltic island. Gear and weapons. We get an SA-58P and SA-58V. Anti-tank mines makes sense because there's not mines yet. American rifle optic from it's the Colt 4x20. Props. Medical assets. Yes. Vehicles. We get ambulances. Nice. Is that part of the medical? That's gonna be really interesting. You can go drive up with your ambulance and work on people from there. That would actually be so much fun. And we got animals coming. Wildlife prototype, birds, pretty easy. Hopefully not that seagull. The whole seagull. Okay, so second milestone. So this is coming at a later time, which is called air assault. So we're probably focusing on air vehicles and air weapons. Anything along those nations, but it looks like there's some other things like suppressors and melee. Well, let's take a look at the text here. Helicopters, standard helicopter flight model. Yes, so yeah, we're actually gonna get helicopters. There is already a mod for helicopters, which is kind of funny. Some nerd out there, we love you, that created a helicopter before Bohemia created a helicopter in their own freaking game. There are going to be 2 transport helicopters with mounted machine guns. Fun. Let's start blasting that. What song is that? Controllable by players. Yes, it better be. Pilot gear makes sense. Revive. Unconscious state of character. Ability to revive the character. That's what I'm talking about. So those ambulances will, and the medical stuff will come in later. But this is a feature that's not in Arma 3, but is in the beloved and famous Ace 3 mod, the Ace medical, except for the people who, you know, take the medical part out and don't like it. But yeah, the unconscious state of the character, so you don't just straight up die. You can actually become unconscious and somebody can pick you up, so you won't actually count as a death. And I think those ambulances are going to come in very nifty here. Ballistic protection. New ballistic vests that provide ballistic protection against bullets and shrapnel. Helmets provide protection against shrapnel. Oh yeah, baby. So your clothes and all that are going to have armor ratings to them. That's wonderful. And it looks like they can probably kind of decrease over time from taking hits. So that would be my guess. And there are some mods for Arma 3 on this to expound on whatever is existing right now, which doesn't exist very much, or at least is not really apparent that the armor actually does anything in Arma 3, but to actually have that in Arma Reforger is going to be really nice, similar to what you would see in Escape from Tarkov. Don't quote me on that. That's just my guess. It only makes sense if they do that. World interaction, electricity. What? Full electrical network on the islands. Oh my gosh. Buildings, transformers, lamps connected to the sources. What is this Fallout 4? Like you're building bases that have generators and stuff? Possibility to interrupt and repair the electricity distribution. Lights in the buildings. Oh my goodness. In Arma 3, like there's some mods out there that you can kind of like trigger lights and stuff using triggers, but there wasn't an actual like full electrical network or wires running through the islands or the terrain. So it'll be interesting how the modding goes with terrain builders and how that actually will end up working with this electricity. But wow, that's wild. That can add a whole different, a whole new gameplay from having that. It'd be so much easier than doing what some people are doing in Arma 3 right now. That we rarely ever see people playing with electricity and lights in Arma 3, and we'll see how much farther it can go beyond just lights. Talking about whole buildings, they got transformers and lamps connected to the sources. So we'll see what else, if there's other things that can happen. I'm sure we could connect triggers to that electrical framework and turn off computers or cause another trigger to cause a new task that comes up. I don't know. That's just some of the things that you could possibly do with something like that. And I don't think we've seen any other game have that feature. None whatsoever, which makes Arma amazing. This is coming in Arma Reforger. Like, this is all going to be stuff it's going to be an Arma 4. That's the fun part. Fuel system update. So possibility to refuel vehicles. Yes. People are running around in Arma Reforger right now, driving around vehicles, and they run out of gas and they can't fill them up. So yeah, we get fuel nozzles, improved consumption of vehicles, fuel related assets. Yes, of course. Gas, the nozzle, etc. You gotta fill that thing up. Game Master update. So we get another one. Placing artillery strikes, smoke shells, and other effects. So yes, it's like just like in Zeus, where you can just as the Game Master, as the Zeus, you can shoot down something from the sky and just manually. So linking waypoints with specific entities. Waypoint for destroying a vehicle. So it tells you like, okay, this is how you get to that particular place you need to go. Get there and do it. So like, yeah, it's with like the Game Master wants to get things moving, to have those waypoints to tell people, hey, this is just go here. You'll figure it out after that. Conflict update. So that's the main game mode that we see in Arma Reforger. They're going to add supply management. The sources of replies will be located mainly in the FIA warehouses. Both factions will need to fight for these resources. Supply runs are needed to deliver these resources. 2 types of supplies for ammunition and building purposes. This sounds very much like Squad. So you need resources so you can build things to deliver, those resources and pass them on so you can help with the main objective. Save slots, multiple save slots for playable content. That is what people have been asking for. Unfortunately, this is in the second update that's coming, the Air Assault update, Milestone, as opposed to the ground one. Melee can be used with all weapons in the game. Yay! There's a little bit of melee already. But I wonder what they're gonna add. Like, there's already melee. You can just hit a button and your guy will, do a short, quick little melee attack. Suppressors, ability to attach suppressor to a weapon. Yes, please. Like, there's already mods. Some of the mod guns have that. So yeah, they'll disperse the sound differently, changing particle effects on the weapons it's attached to. All right, what assets are we getting? Gear and weapons. We're getting heavy machine guns. That's the NSV. Flares, handheld and pistol. Ballistic protection. We get the M1 helmet, M69 flak vest, PSA GT vest, the 6B2 vest, 6B3 vest, flight suits, optics, Soviet rifle optic 1P29, the Soviet launcher optic is a PGO 7B3, bayonets and suppressors as you would expect. Vehicles, we get the UH-1H transport helicopter and the MIL MI-AMT transport helicopter, as well as the S-1203 minibus. Gotta throw in the cars in there, there's no reason not to. Third milestone is called Final Strike. So this right here will probably be the very last huge update for Arma Reforger before Arma 4 comes out, based off of just the name of the third milestone and looking at this roadmap. Bohemia did say that they will still provide updates after Final Strike is complete, but I wouldn't expect like huge things coming. They're showing all the main features that they want in Arma 4 by the end of this third milestone called Final Strike and Arma Reforger. So let's take a look at that. First one, features light artillery. Thank you. Yes, artillery. Like, it's so overlooked sometimes, especially with first-person shooters. Like, there's just not any artillery except for Arma. This is the only place you're gonna get it. 2 mortar guns, operable by both players and AI. Awesome. So the AI is going to be able to use the guns. 81 to 82 millimeter mortar ammunition, deployable and assembled from 3 parts. Yes, that's great. Like, that's they kind of try to get close to that with Arma 3, and of course some of the mods really help do that and expand it with RHS and Cup. Manually operable azimuth and elevation adjustment, that would make sense. Building destruction, simple and advanced system of building destruction. Wait, simple and advanced. Simple and advanced. What? Interesting. I'm really interested. I love destruction. Like, if you look up some clips on Red Faction Guerrilla, and that's the best destruction. That game's so old, but it still has the best destruction I've ever seen in any video game ever. And occasionally I'll go back to it just to like take down a whole building with a sledgehammer. It's so much fun. But it would be awesome to see whatever this advanced system of building destruction is, considering that there's already going to be some destruction. I guess maybe the first round of the ground assault, first milestone, based around like just other assets around the game, clutter and all that, items. But this is a building destruction. So you're looking at probably something similar to the early Battlefields and not like the later Battlefields with Levolution, where it's kind of scripted, but more of like, this is dynamic destruction. I would love to see that. we'll see how that goes. I imagine they're simple and advanced probably for FPS reasons and performance reasons, because once you get advanced, destruction's not easy, and that's why most games don't have it. Explosive charges, remotely detonated and time fused explosives. Yes, okay, yeah. I mean, Arma 3, we've had that for quite some time. So, Game Master update, sharing your save scenarios with others. Yes. So in Game Master, you can create your scenarios and not only save them, but you can share them. So other people can have them and other people can play them. It's a lot easier than the editor and having to do that outside of it. So people who are not going into too advanced stuff, just throw things together. You can save it, that share feature. So another conflict update, freeform building. Full. So that's what partial meant earlier, was that they weren't done. So bases won't have their predefined places, causing the opposing faction to locate the opponent's bases first. Bases can be built anywhere on the island. The only limitation is the radio range and the number of supplies. That is awesome. Talk about a sandbox experience, man. This is what we want. Yes, thank you. Conflict HQ role. By default, it's an AI deciding on the strategy. HQ role defines the objectives for the faction. A player can take over this role and decide strategic decisions. AI conducting the supply runs. Yes, that's wonderful. AI is going to actually do the supply runs for the people who just don't want to do it, because it's not what we came here for, is to do that. Even some people are. It's useful. Dynamically generated scenario update, enhancement of the dynamically generated content. Okay, they're gonna make it better with the whole dynamic missions. That's nice. Assets. Okay, so all the features. We just finished all the features, finishing the last few assets. So we get some weapons. So mortars is the M252 mortar, the 2B14 mortar, tanker outfits, light machine gun, the UK 59L, assault rifles, the M16A2 carbine, explosive charges, anti-personnel mines, civilian clothes, vehicles, vehicle LAV 25. Getting the LAV, boys. Vehicle BRDM2, Shoka S105, flatbed truck, and helicopter weapon system. If you just want a good summary, I'll provide a link to this page of the roadmap in the description below. I'm super excited. Look through each of these things. If we look at the top as far as timeline, Arma Reforger is the foundation for Arma 4. So Arma 4 is coming. This is the foundation. I think the idea is that they want Arma 4 not to suck. And so Arma Reforger, in a lot of ways, is going to be Arma 4, at least the actual groundwork for Arma 4, because it takes so long to make these games, especially on the new Infusion engine. So it says the beginning of a multi-year journey. It's really complex and difficult, blah, 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 blah. We can assure you that they're working hard. Of course they are. Those 3 milestones we went to was ground support, air assault, and final strike. Ground support is set to be released in Q4 of 2022. A couple months before we get to ground support, and that's the end of 2022, and we'll get the new map, Ireland. 4 isn't going to be coming out for probably another year or two, at least 2, I would guess, at the very least. And they did point out that Reforger will be supported after 1.0, which would be after Final Strike. So the game's not going away. The people who spent our hard-earned money on Arma Reforger will still be able to get to play and it'll be supported. These are going to be all of the main features in Arma Reforger, and likely most, if not all, of the features that we're going to see in Arma 4. Let me know what you think was missing, what you're really excited about in Arma Reforger. What are some small other things that they didn't touch on? Almost no mention of modding other than what you would see in Game Master and Scenario. If you're still playing Arma 3, check out all of my Arma 3 videos, primarily focus on mods. If you want to really up your game in Arma 3, or if Arma has been so difficult for you and you're just you've been on console, you finally went to PC, you're not sure if you want to get Arma 3, but you're looking at Arma Reforger because it looks like it's a little bit easier to jump into. A lot of my videos will help you jump into Arma 3 real quick, real easy, and start having fun as soon as you can get mods downloaded. You don't even have to do that, but it's a lot of fun. So thanks, guys. Talk to you later.